What's up? I told you to do something special for March, so this is what I have planned. This month is usually when we get into overdrive on the road to WrestleMania, so for this month I'm going to do wrestling videos. Now, I know WrestleMania is in April 3rd if I remember correctly, so that'll probably be the last wrestling video I do for a while. There may be one video not wrestling related I do at the beginning of April, right before I do my WrestleMania review. But get into that later. So for now, just if you like my wrestling videos, hope you enjoy this list of videos. There are going to be some top 10s and even a haters club I've got planned. So here we go. For these two videos coming up, this is going to be my top 10 favorite wrestling villains. Yes, as the saying goes, a hero is only as good as his villains. And this time, I'm going to celebrate the best villains that, in my opinion, that WWE has given us. So these are the ones that you enjoy hating because they are that good at being bad. So let's celebrate it. With number 10, first up is Randy Orton. Now, Randy Orton's pretty low on this list considering he's done some pretty dazzling things, but he's a good villain. I like the way that he really antagonized Mick Foley early in his career. That was really what set him up as being a good villain. It allowed him to show his work on the mic and be pretty ruthless, especially in their Extreme Rules, if you want to call it, or Street Fight. That's better way of saying it. Street Fight at Backlash in 2004. Also, what he did when he was part of Evolution and in Legacy really showed his ability to be a villain. Sometimes he's kind of in between, a hero and a villain. He can shift, but he's kind of stuck in the middle now. But he's still a good villain, and I enjoy the stuff that he's done. And especially going towards WrestleMania 25, that really showed what he can do to get people to hate him. But I don't know when he's going to be able to really go back to being a villain. But one of the funniest moments was when he cashed in his Money in the Bank on the little troll and really solidified himself as a villain in that story arc until about a year later. But he's a good villain. I don't know how many times he's going to be a villain now because he's kind of stuck in between being a hero and a villain. But number 9 on my list is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I can't do the laugh. If I could, I would do the laugh, but I can't. First of all, paying a crooked referee to count down Hogan's shoulders so that Andre the Giant could become the WWE champion and then buy the championship basically off of him. It's geniusly evil. But it was so good. It really went to his whole catchphrase of "Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man." That voice is terrible. Anyways, yeah, that whole thing with him trying to be the WWE champion, even buying the championship, it was really cool. And the way he would use money to get people to do embarrassing things or even do something where it looks like they're going to succeed, and he just becomes a jerk and stops him from being able to accomplish it. It was really like, oh, you are such a jerk. He was one of those villains that you just wanted to see somebody just kick the crap out of him. And he was able to even be a really good wrestling villain manager. And in the 90s, he was a good manager, but there were so many good managers at the time. Sometimes you can see how he gets overlooked. But all in all, I really like the $1 Million Man as a villain. He played it well. He knew how to get people to hate him. And I think that's one of the most important things that a villain needs to do. So, number 7 on my number 8. Don't want to forget number 8. Because number 8 is the Rated R Superstar. Yes, the ultimate opportunist. There's a reason why he's called that. He practically perfected the art of cashing in Money in the Bank. And now whenever somebody does the whole, wait for the champion to be weakened and then cash in on him, my brothers and I just call that pulling an edge. But he's really good at being a villain first of all, when he was with Christian, that whole the tag teams that they were a great tag team, and they were great tag team villains. For the benefit of those with flash photography, do the 5-second poses. They were hilarious. And again, it was a way to get the crowd. Like, you suck for doing that pose. I remember one was great. They were in Boston, and they were they were talking the most famous sports moment in Boston history, and they do the Bill Buckner pose where the ball goes through his legs. Oh man, and the faces they make. If you go watch it on the network, hopefully they have the whole collection of 5-second poses segments. But if you get a chance to watch that, it's hilarious, and the reaction of the crowd, they just want to kick their asses. Good stuff. But also in his singles run, he really capitalized on the real life relationship with him, Lita, and Matt Hardy. That whole thing that they even talk about on You Think You Know Me documentary, the last Edge DVD that they did. It was a really cool way for him to show that he can truly be a villain, even take something real life and run with it. And his ability to use the Money in the Bank so well to the point where now people just think, oh, they're being just like Edge, is really cool. And he really knew how to get the crowd to hate him. And then later on, when he was becoming more of a hero, he got the crowd again to like him. I like Edge. I was pretty sad to see him go. Not as sad as my brother, because he was a big Edge head. But we were happy that he was able to get out before he got seriously hurt. But getting to number 7 now is Trish Stratus. This wasn't going to be all guys. No. So it's Trish Stratus. First of all, her bitchiness when she was with Vince McMahon was, man, you just couldn't resist being like, you are such a gold-digging bitch. And then when she went villain again by slapping Chris Jericho and costing him his match at WrestleMania 20, that whole thing was pretty cool to watch. Even without Christian there, she really owned being a villain. She seemed to be enjoying it. And then her stuff with Lita in that same year, that was some really good TV. And it was like, it really made you feel pretty bad for Lita, what Trish was doing to her. And it made you want to see Trish get her ass kicked by Lita. Unfortunately, Lita ended up tearing her ACL, so we never got to have that match between the two of them at a WrestleMania. Those two really worked well together throughout the early 2000s, and it really showed Trish's ability to be a villain. And I think the match that really showed her wrestling ability and being a villain was her rivalry with Stephanie McMahon. And it was one of those things like, man, from going to Valley for TNA Test and Albert to here was really showing a different side of her than just being seductive. And it was really cool to see her having that match with Stephanie McMahon. And then later on, when she had her matches with Lita, it was like, yes, these are some great women's wrestling matches. So, number 6 on my list is The Miz. I'm a big Miz fan. I like The Miz. He's a good villain. He really knows how to get people to hate on him, and also get the crowd to cheer for the person who's going to rival against him. So you want to see that person kick his ass. Like I've said before about Daniel Bryan, nobody really gave a crap about Daniel Bryan until he stole the catchphrase from a motivational speaker. But before that, the first time that anybody ever gave a crap about him in WWE was because of his rivalry with The Miz. Miz had to carry that rivalry on the mic because Daniel Bryan then and now has absolutely no mic skills whatsoever. And so Miz is the one that really got the crowd to back Daniel Bryan. He knows how to do that. Not to mention what he did with Damian Sandow, or look at what he can do when he was with John Cena. I've said before, he could have had a really good villain and had a great villainous champion, but WWE didn't really give The Miz a chance to show what he can really do. But again, he knows how to get the fans to hate on him and to cheer for the person who's going to theoretically kick his ass. I mean, look at even his rivalry with, of all people, Jerry Lawler. Miz knew how to get that match going and get that rivalry going, even against somebody who was 2 years away from a heart attack and was way over the hill. So that's part one of my list. Stay tuned for part two, which will probably be right after this first part. So right now, who's your favorite female wrestling villain? Who's your favorite female wrestling villain? I mentioned Trish Stratus. Who do you think is a really good female villain? By the way, if you think you know what my number one is, you're probably wrong.